Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user awaythrow85. Me, 29 female, with my close friend, 29 female of 11 years. How can I politely get my friend to stop flaunting her, or her family's, wealth in front of me all the time? Throwaway since my friend is a redditor, and this post is probably going to make me sound like a gigantic douche. I met Carrie in college. We immediately became inseparable BFFs, despite the fact we were total opposites. She was a well-to-do sorority girl, and I was an antisocial emo kid. She took me to fraternity parties, and I'd take her to see bands that nobody has ever heard of. We had a blast, and meeting Carrie really brought me out of my shell. I actually owe my social life to Carrie. Carrie dropped out of school when we were 20 and went to live with her parents due to stress. 4 years later, all of Carrie's friends and I are done with school, and Carrie is living in a loft downtown that her parents pay for. She has no job and never went back to school. However, her parents have gotten two very large, 7 figures, yes, Carrie told me the exact amount, inheritances from wealthy family members. Carrie is living the life of an heiress with no responsibility and lots of money, and it's starting to strain our relationship. Well, now it's been 9 years, and Carrie spends her days shopping and her nights drinking and being a huge part of the club scene. I, on the other hand, married an amazing man and have an amazing, albeit low-paying job, as does my husband. We work in the same field. I had to have a few surgeries last year due to a chronic illness, and I and my husband have been in debt ever since. Medical bills, even with good insurance, and missing 5 months of work will do that. We are slowly getting back on top of things though, it's just been a slow process. We have both been working 50 to 60 hours a week. We are desperate to have a child, but until we can get some money in the bank, I don't see it happening. We are happy and now healthy, so I try not to complain. But when you've been doing nothing but working, sleeping, and eating ramen for a year, it's easy to get down sometimes. I try to keep money venting between me and my husband, but I'll admit, sometimes I do bitch about the lack of money and fun to Carrie. Carrie invites me out on the town every night. Every night, I turn her down. I work at 4 a.m. plus I don't have money to spend on booze or covers right now. And every night, she makes me feel like a terrible friend because of it. She says things like, "Oh my god, you seriously don't have $30 to come out with me? Seriously?" And no, I seriously don't. I invite her over to our house, but she says it's boring and we go to bed too early. I understand that she is single and has all of the freedom and money in the world, but I'm just in a different stage of life right now, where beer can't take priority and I don't have the energy I used to. Here is where the big issue starts. Maybe I'm just a jealous a-hole and they aren't even issues at all, but here we go. My husband and I decided to sell his car to pay off a chunk of my medical bills. My car was more reliable and sharing works for us right now, although it has been kind of a struggle to adjust. The other night, I worked the night shift and ended up stranded at work for an extra 4 hours due to my husband having the car at his job. It wasn't that big of a deal, but after a 14-hour shift, I just wanted to go home. So I broke down in sleepy, hungry tears and called Carrie. She was at a party and couldn't pick me up, but she listened to me vent about being poor and having to share a car, and she made me feel much better with her kind words. The next afternoon, Carrie asked if she could come by and show me something. Since she never wants to come to our boring, poor people's house, I was ecstatic and told her to come on. What did she have to show me? Oh, her brand spanking new, fully loaded Lexus SUV. She gave me a tour of it and then complained that the color doesn't look right in the sunlight. Give me a break. Lol. Keep in mind, she still has yet to have a job, like, ever, in her whole life. Okay, so yes, I am jealous, but I still need advice. So I listened to her brag about her amazing new Lexus and all of the amenities for a while, and then she left. My husband was livid. I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, since she doesn't know about bills, jobs, or taxes, or anything from adult life. I assumed she didn't really see why coming over to show off her new luxury SUV stung so badly. About a week or so later, I received a text from Carrie around 3:30 a.m. that said, "Had to be at the airport to catch our flight to Italy at 4 this morning. I would kill myself if I had to wake up this early every day." So I texted back, "Well, I'm awake and getting ready for work as usual. 4 a.m. isn't so bad once you get used to it." The next text I received said, "Well, you should quit. If they aren't paying you at least 7 figures, the job is not worth your time or your health issues." I didn't respond. 7 figures? Lol. I make mid-low 5 figures a year after taxes. Ha. Now she texts me daily from Italy telling me to quit my job. "Have a baby, stay home and let your husband be the breadwinner. Then we can hang out all the time." I try explaining that we both make about the same amount a year, and if one of us quits, we'd be pretty screwed, but she literally thinks money will just show up in my account if I wish hard enough, I guess. It's very frustrating, and I'm sort of starting to get offended by her ignorance. She called me a month ago and asked if I wanted to go to Florida with her for a week, and when I told her that I couldn't, "Damn you, job," she got super rude to me. She said that I'm using being poor as an excuse not to hang out with her anymore. This isn't the case. I ask her to come over at least 3 times a week, but she says my house is too boring. How can I make her see that if you don't have money, then you can't buy a new Lexus and fly all over the world and go shopping in New York City just for fun? I try to invite her over and play board games and drink beer when we have house parties, but she refuses. "It's lame," she says. I don't bitch to my husband about Carrie because she has hated her ever since she, not so jokingly, called him blue collar with much disdain in front of a bunch of people at her parents' lake house and really embarrassed him. So I come to you, Reddit. How can I kindly explain to Carrie that I love being her friend, but I just can't go out and do lavish things with her? I can't afford it. Is there a nice way to ask somebody to stop rubbing their inheritance in your face, or am I the issue? Maybe I'm being overly sensitive. I also see things from the other point of view. Carrie is 29, single, has no job, no pets, nothing. Well, except about an F-ton of money at her disposal, so maybe she is sad and filling a void with expensive things. I just don't want to hurt her feelings, but the grabbing and money talk has got to stop. How can I make her understand that I'm not miserable working? I hate being broke, but I like my job, and even if I didn't, quitting would not be an option. I'm jealous of Carrie's money, but other than that, I love my life. My husband is the best, my dogs are the best, and my sister and parents are the best too. Money is our only issue, and while it sucks, in the grand scheme of things, we are doing just fine and better than most. Am I being too mean here? Should I just deal with the bragging? I just need to figure something out. Whenever she texts me or calls me, my skin crawls. I know it's going to be a brag about a $2,000 dress she bought, or a painting she bought in Paris, or her new Lexus getting a scratch on it. The horror! And I'm going nuts. Help! Well, OP, no, I don't think you're being mean. I just think she's oblivious and completely out of touch with reality. Honestly, what she said to your husband would have been enough for me to question this whole thing. I don't care how good of a friend somebody is to me. If they disrespect my wife, that's it. And if you didn't say anything to her, like step back and, apologize, then you dropped the ball on that one, OP. Now, if you still want to keep her as a friend, because let's face it, she is not your best friend anymore, then you need to sit down with her and tell her to get a grip on reality, that you do not have the means that she does, that if she wants to hang out with you, she can always come to your house and you can have a drink and talk. That's about it. You're not a party person anymore. I don't know if you ever were, but you can't go out partying with her every night and just spend a lot of money on it, because that's not your reality, and she needs to understand this. And if she doesn't and tries to make you feel bad or something, anything short of saying, "You know what, OP, you're absolutely right, I'm sorry and I will change my attitude," then that should tell you everything you need to know about the type of friendship that you have with Carrie. Maybe she is now a friend in the past or just an acquaintance. And what do you guys think? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Switch34 says, "When you reached the part about her visiting your house, I thought it was gonna be that she bought you a car as a present, not to rub her Lexus in your face. What the F?" At the same time, I have sympathy for her not ever being able to truly appreciate the smaller things in life for as long as she lives. You need more friends who are not douchebags. Spend more time with regular people and less time with a spoiled brat. You will realize more and more that the qualities which make a good person are priceless and not something money can buy. Mr. Strangelove MSC says, look, money has definitely changed Carrie. It seems that she's not the same person anymore. Some of what you've written makes me think she has gone absolutely crazy, to be honest. And as a working couple, you don't need to have all this easy money thrown at your face all year round. It's probably really fun for Carrie to show how rich she is, but I'm guessing that the fact that you, in contrast, have to work probably hurts somewhere down there. Her constant depreciation will probably affect you and your couple at some point. My advice would then be that you write this friendship off, but not before telling her what's what. And Opie responds, you are right, I just feel like a jealous a-hole. And while I'll admit I'm super jealous of all that cash, I don't really like who Carrie has become either. Sad face. Every time I hang out with her, I end up feeling really sad about my life, which is so stupid because I have my health and happiness, but I guess envy makes me less appreciative. Maybe I should distance myself from her for my own happiness' sake. I just feel like that's as bad as breaking off a friendship because one person is poor. Wombatzilla says, when I don't have money to go out with my closest friends and they have extra cash, they don't shame me by saying, you seriously don't have $30? They offer to pay or do something cheaper with me so we can spend time together. She sounds like a heinous bitch face, frankly. I'm not sure how she could have the conversation with you about missing having your own car and then the next day show you her brand new SUV. Especially when you mentioned she never even goes to your house. What kind of close friend doesn't ever want to hang out at their friend's house? That's effing weird. Additional information from OP's comments. I'm beginning to think I'm too boring to be her friend anyway. She only liked me when I was single and had money to go clubbing and on vacations with her. My husband said one night, if she really wanted you to go out with her, why can't she buy you a couple of drinks? Not that it's her place, but he has a good point. I mean, my sister is an accountant and isn't rich, but does very well. She got a bonus last month and offered to pay one of my $400 medical bills. I didn't accept, but it meant the world to me. Meanwhile, I can't even mention the word work to Carrie without her pressuring me to quit. Lol, how can she not realize that most people can't just quit their effing job because they had a bad week? Urgh, now I'm getting pissed. Writing it all out and reading it back really put it into perspective. I think I'm pitying her too much and cutting her too much slack. She even told me once that she would never have to work because when her parents died, she'd be set. I'm not mad that she has millions of dollars at her disposal. I'm mad that she chooses to constantly crap all over me and my family because we don't. Like, she has so much pity on me because I actually have to work every day. It's really annoying. I shouldn't be guilt-tripped because I can't afford to take off work for a week to go hang out for a week at the beach. To be honest, up until today, I thought her bragging wasn't malicious, but now I'm remembering all of the times she has made fun of my clothes, my car, and my house, and I think I'm done. People grow apart. I'm much happier when she isn't around reminding me of how miserable I'm supposed to be. And as awful as it sounds, I don't think I can be friends with somebody whose hobby is spending money. We used to have fun, and now if a club or a trip isn't involved, then it's lame or boring. I don't know. Maybe I am lame. I guess we are just too different now. And for those of you asking, my husband was a musician and has no degree, and I have an art degree, so pretty much 0 degrees between us. Winky face. We are starting at the bottom. We both work in the medical field now. We both were accepted and about to start registered nurse school when I got hospitalized. We are both set to start back next fall. Now, our current jobs are super rewarding but insanely underpaid and underappreciated. However, we can both move up though once we finish school, and we are both due for raises in about 3 weeks, so that will help some. Alright, well, the community was pretty clear. OP has outgrown Carrie and she needs to move on. And also OP gave us a lot more context that kinda hints to that as well. So now let's move on to the update to see what OP did and how this story ends. I'm not sure where to start with this update, but here we go. I went to dinner with Carrie, and after eating, we ordered beers. After a few sips, I came out and explained to her how butthurt I have been lately about some of her statements. And I told her that sometimes I feel like she was purposefully rubbing her wealth in my face. I told her that I knew she wasn't, but that since I was in a bad place financially, it was really starting to get to me. I even apologized for feeling that way, since many of you agreed that I was just a jealous a-hole, haha. Anyway, in a nutshell, Carrie informed me that she had indeed been rubbing her money in my face on purpose. She then broke down into tears about how she was so behind in life and that it was my fault she got kicked out of university. She explicitly blamed me. OP, it's your fault I didn't finish school, blah blah blah. I guess I didn't explain all of that because I didn't see it as relevant, but boy was I wrong. Carrie and I were in the same program at university, and during our second year, Carrie started partying way too hard and started skipping classes due to hangovers approximately 2 or 3 times a week. She would always ask me to make excuses for her, and to begin with, I would. After she got put on academic probation, I started helping her by driving her to classes every day. This meant I would have to use a key to get into her apartment, wake her up 20 times, make her shower the frat house smell off, and drive her to class. Most of the time, she would still skip, meaning I wasted my time and gas money to wake up a 20-year-old party girl. She got suspended and continued to party at frat houses every night while I worked and finished the semester. By the next semester, Carrie could start the program again, but she quickly fell into the same party habits and was expelled this time. Apparently, her failing out was my fault because I should have taken the semester off to stay behind with her so I could be her mommy, chauffeur, and alarm clock. She then told me that if I had helped her more, she wouldn't have had to rely on her parents' money and she would have more friends her own age and would be married by now. I feel bad for her, but I spent so much energy on trying to help her in college that I kind of got burnt out. It was hard enough to worry about my own classes and projects, let alone Carrie's too. I feel bad that she feels behind, but honestly, I don't think I'm to blame. Anyway, our drinks ended with me apologizing. I know, I have self-esteem issues that I'm working on with my therapist, and her apologizing, but we haven't really spoken since. My husband is not so secretly really glad we haven't been talking. I feel a lot stressed out, but I am worried about her. However, I'm not going to contact her. It's time to let the relationship die. It was feeling rather one-sided for the past few years anyway. So, thank you all for your comments and support. Oh wow, Carrie is unbelievable. The audacity. It is your fault she failed. Like, accountability zero. She's the one that chose to party. She's the one that chose to prioritize being hungover rather than going to school. It's all on her. OP, you are not to blame, of course. So I guess good riddance and good for you for moving on in your life. Take care, OP, and thank you so much for sharing. Now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user CleverCubed. Not allowed at the company party? Throw a bigger one and expense it. A few years ago, I went to a very large week-long conference in Las Vegas. One of the evenings, our company was throwing a massive party for our customers. These parties were known to be epic, and everyone there to work the booth looked forward to it every year. But at the last minute, the CEO, wanting to keep the costs down, decided that engineers weren't allowed at the party because of the cost, despite the fact that we had been busting our butts for weeks for the show. Our VP protested and was told just to take us all out for dinner on the company's dime. So our VP took us all to a very expensive restaurant on the strip and said, "Get anything you want, let's max out my company card." Everyone got Wagyu steaks, expensive wine, old bourbon scotch, and all of the desserts. The bill came out to around $15,000, at least 10 times what allowing us in the party would have cost. Ah man, CEO made a decision with a $15,000 price tag on it. Thanks for sharing, OP. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.